Welcome to Double K Creations. As you can see in the title, it's moving day. We're moving Kelly's blind up to the one of the top of the ridges that we have, and all the boards you see there, they're just decking boards that were here when we bought the property. They're sitting on logs that we have cut up from the trees we've cut out up here for firewood. It's very inexpensive, just something so you can set your chairs on. We have call them blind buddies. They're just three-legged stools that I've made out of different trees we've cut. And just something to rest your crossbow on. As you can see, that board just popped up and come loose, and we'll stamp that back down. The nails just popped out of the log that it was sitting on. Just giving it a once over, checking everything out. That board is for a pole that you'll see at the end of the video. They found it's very successful in putting a pole in that center hub when you're not in it, just to shed the rain to keep it from collapsing. In the far left, you can see like grass. That's from our field. We've tried several attempts to get stuff to grow up here, but the soil's not the best. And I had sown it down prior and then covered it with the grass clippings and overseeded that, and stuff's finally starting to grow. We're checking out the blind because the building we left them in, we found several snake skins and wasps and bees and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're just kind of taking our time, making sure there's no snakes coiled up in it. And you can see that they've drug insulation out of the building. The mice decided that they needed to live in it, so they're just going to poke around a little bit with this stick and make sure nothing's in here. And we don't need to pop this open and have a snake jump at us. So probably being a little overcautious, but I've already been stung today, so just kind of poking around. I'm sure some of you other people do the same thing. Caution. That pole, that's the pole that we use for the center hub. It gets kind of violent up here sometimes, but we've had this blind for 6 years. It was actually a wedding present from my aunt and uncle. And then Kelly shot her first crossbow buck out of this blind in this very spot last year at the beginning of the season. And it's just, she really likes it up here. This is her spot. And, but to the left of the food plot, there's a bench that runs around the whole U shape of this, and a deer bed on the lower side of this and behind her. And there's also a large acorn grove about 150 yards out in front of her. The deer use this as a travel corridor. And since we've put in, we have had some stuff. There's a little bit of clover and some rye grows out there, and it just slows them down. And we got some mineral blocks and some licking branches, and it's just enough to slow them down. And there's a few oak trees scattered out in front, and they like it up here. But they just travel this ridge from one ridge to the other, and it's just a nice little funnel and a pinch point, a little staging area for them. But shaking the blind to make sure nothing was in the inside pockets, and just setting it on the platform. We'd all love to have the big muddy and the redneck blinds, but not all of us have thousands upon thousands of dollars to put into a hunting blind. So this is just a nice little cheap alternative to give you a level spot to sit on, and something to support the blind a little better than it sinking in the mud when it rains and upheaves with the freezing and the thawing. And well, you guys all know how it is. And last year, Kelly had a small family of mice living with her in it, and she was okay with that. as long as they stayed in the pockets in the blind. But she would text me and send me pictures. We have several. We have 4 blinds set up on top of this ridge. We have 50 acres that belong to us, and we enjoy every minute of it. We harvest a lot of firewood up here, which we use to heat with. Sometimes we cook with it. And there's remnants out in front of the blind, some of the brush from the trees we've cut. And you might wonder why it's sitting in front of the blind, but it helps shield any movement from the food plot. And there's you're looking at, well, she shot that buck last year. It was a 24, 25-yard shot. And she shot it off camera to the left, and it actually walked right in front of her and fell down about 10 feet in front of where she's tying this blind off. And it was very, very nice, very good, successful first crossbow experience for her. And I posted on Facebook a story about it last year because I dropped her off and went to one of my blinds and just got settled in, and it was a beautiful fall day. The acorns were falling. It was in about the mid 60s, just a beautiful day to be out. And so I was getting settled in, got a text from the boss, deer down, and texted her back and asked her if it was dead, and she said it was laying in front of her. And I said, well, I'll be there in a minute. And we loaded him up and took him to the processing room, and 4 days later he was cut up and in the freezer. But the memory of that deer has lasted us all season and all year, and it's one she'll remember forever. And there's the pole. Like I said, it's just a branch off of one of the trees, and very invaluable. I mean, it's just something, put it in when you're not in it, to give that center hub of support to help shield the rain. When you get in your blind, just take it down. The blind's big enough, you can just lay it off in one of the sides, and it's not even in your way. So there it is. There's Kelly's Retreat. And just hope everyone has a successful hunting season this year, and may God bless you. Thank you.